Welcome, everyone, to the fourth DEM I Wonder webinar. DEM has so many services, offerings, programs, and hidden gems that we want to share with all of you. So we're excited to take just a few minutes each week to highlight these features in our weekly webinar. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many exercises have been postponed or canceled. The Utah Division of Emergency Management is hosting this weekly webinar series aimed at providing local emergency managers with relevant content and opportunities to enhance their capabilities. Webinars will be live for Q&A and will be recorded for later viewing on the DEM website and YouTube channels. Most of these webinars will be workshops with a hands-on portion, which will allow emergency managers to test a DEM product or process. Our schedule today will be as follows. We will start with our ground rules and etiquette. Next, we'll have a brief presentation by Brian Stinson. I wonder how to find preparedness videos and information, an introduction to Be Ready Utah. Following the presentation, there will be a hands-on portion where participants will be encouraged to test out the product or process that was presented. Following the hands-on portion of our program, the presenter will be available for a Q&A. Following the Q&A, we will close with a short message about upcoming webinars. Ground rules today are fairly simple. Please mute your line while the presenter is presenting. If you have a question, you may type it in the group chat or unmute at the appropriate time to ask your question. This session is being recorded and will be available on our website for future viewing. Thank you all for your attendance today. And with that, we'll turn the time over to Brian Stinson.
All righty. Well, thank you for having me here. And I've never thought of myself as a hidden gem, but I'll take it. Thanks, Tracy. Let me tell you a little bit about Be Ready Utah. I'm sure many of you are familiar, at least have heard of us. But Be Ready Utah, it started in 2005 when then Governor Herbert, he traveled down to Hurricane Katrina and he saw the devastation that was there. And a lot of the citizens in that area, they left their homes without so much as a bottle of water. They were completely dependent on outside resources to help them. And they had absolutely nothing, not to mention, not supplies and not even any information of how they could take care of themselves in a disaster situation. Well, let me share my screen here. All right. So when the residents of Utah are prepared for emergencies and properly informed about the protective actions associated with the particular incidents, emergency managers like you and your communities, you're relieved of the burdens that would otherwise take time and resources that are in very short supply in emergencies. So the whole purpose of Be Ready Utah is to help and encourage the residents of Utah to be more self-reliant and prepared so they can be an asset to their communities rather than a burden. And you can help us help you by promoting the information and activities provided by Be Ready Utah. Now, specifically in Be Ready Utah today, I'm going to be talking about the social media that we've been doing. So the first question, where can I find tried, trusted, and true preparedness videos, memes, and information to share? And of course, my answer would be, well, you go to the internet, right? That's where we go to try and find everything. Problem with that, you do a search for online emergency preparedness and you find a lot. You find a lot of information, and how do you know what's true? I've heard stories about people saying, well, I've got a swimming pool and I've got hot tubs, or I've got a hot tub and I can use that for drinking water. There was a TV show I remember a while ago, I think it was National Geographic, that they called it Doomsday Preppers. That makes it sound very ominous. But in there, they had a lot of people that had some good preparedness thoughts and principles, but they kind of turned them out to be a little freakish in nature. That's how they were presented. And there's kind of people preparing for zombie apocalypse kind of things associated with people that prepare for emergencies. And we've got to overcome that. But going to the internet by itself it's really hard to find those hidden gems that we were just talking about, as opposed to all the lumps of coal that are out there. Actually, a lump of coal might be a good thing for an emergency. So I don't know. But anyway, there's all sorts of information out there. I've seen things like, well, if you put bay leaves or 16-penny nails or maybe spearmint chewing gum in your wheat, it'll keep weevils from getting in it. That's not true. There's all sorts of false information out there. So where do you need to go to get the right information? You need to go to BeReadyUtah.gov. Dun, dun, dun. And yep, I emphasize that. So my presentation is now done. You can all go resume your lunch. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so Be Ready Utah. You can also find information with the Division of Emergency Management. Be Ready Utah and the Division of Emergency Management. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Let's go find some of those things real quick. All right, we're going to Twitter. So today I'm talking mostly about just our social media things that we offer here at Be Ready Utah. This is a great way. We put out information at least 4 times a day on different things, emergency preparedness related, directly from Be Ready Utah. We also forward things from FEMA, from the CDC, from Utah's coronavirus website as well. So we have all sorts of information that goes out every single day. I very much encourage you, if you can see on my Twitter screen right here, first thing you need to do is follow us. Follow us on Twitter. I would encourage you not to set up alerts. There's a feature that you can do that you get a little buzz or something whenever something is posted on Be Ready Utah. You may want to do that on DEM, but on Be Ready Utah, we put out daily information. It's not an emergency alert kind of information. It's just good emergency preparedness kind of information. So you don't need to have that on alerts. Otherwise, you're going to get bugged by how much great information we're giving you. Some other things you want to look at when you see a post, like this is one that just posted 3 hours ago on the Be Ready Utah website. You have these little features down here. This first one here, if you want to comment, one thing we encourage you to do is join the conversation. You have experience in some of these kinds of things as well, or maybe you have a question. Put comments in this little bubble down here. That lets you put a little comment in, and you can talk back to us and all the people that follow you on your social media platform as well. You can retweet it. Retweet it, sends it right out to all of the people that you follow, and we'll see that as well. But you can put a comment there as well. Even if you just think it's a great piece of information that Be Ready Utah put out, you can put a little like. That also, the more likes that something gets, the more it spreads. And if it's a particularly pertinent information for your jurisdiction, it might be good to just put a like on it so it spreads more in your area as well. Other things you can do, click on this little one. You can send us a direct message. It won't be seen by the people that follow you. It'll be just between you and Be Ready Utah. Send us a direct message if you have a question about something, or maybe even that particular thing that we posted. Sometimes I've been known to do spelling errors, so maybe that would be a good thing. Hey, Brian, you put a spelling error in there. That would be a good place to put it in the direct messaging. And then you wouldn't have this in yours because I'm referencing that from the administrative site. That just gives me the stats for that particular post. Okay, so we talked about that. Some things that you can do. You say, okay, that's great, but what if I have a particular question about emergency preparedness that you haven't been covering in the last few weeks? I don't want to go back searching for it. How can I find that information from Be Ready Utah? We actually had an incident. The Division of Emergency Management the whole state of Utah was audited for our pandemic response. And one thing that we did is we went back and did a search to find all of the information that Be Ready Utah put out to the residents of Utah on pandemics. So what you can do that, if you can see up here in my search Twitter bar, Click on that. What you want to do is put in Be Ready Utah first. For our name in Twitter is at Be Ready Utah, all one word. So you need to do at Be Ready Utah. And if you'd like to open up a second tab and follow along with me, you can put in your own searches, find something else, but at Be Ready Utah, and then a space, and then pandemic. Make sure I spell it right. Pandemic. And just hit enter. Now this pulls up all of the things that Be Ready Utah has been talking about pandemic-wise as far back as you can go. So it lists it by the ones that were the most popular, the latest. I usually like to do the latest ones because that means that they're the most up-to-date in the information. And then people and videos, all of them are photos or videos, so you don't even need to go there. Usually I just use either top or latest. So let's go to latest. So you can see October 1st, we did a retweet from State of Utah COVID-19 response on pandemic, and it flagged it because the word pandemic was there. If you want to see anything specifically from Be Ready Utah, here's a post that went out July 13th. You can see we have a prep cast. I'll tell you a little bit more about those later. That's a video series that we've created, and it was all about pandemic and Utah's response to that. So as you can see, I mean, it goes back and it'll go back for years, but it's all in chronological order, different things about pandemic. So if you want to send something out to your jurisdiction about pandemic, do that little search in Be Ready Utah and say you like this one here. All you have to do is go to this little spot right there, and that'll retweet it right in your social media, on your social media platform, Twitter. So that's one thing you can do. And other things that you can do, let's go back to the search, change it from pandemic to, let's say, disaster supply kits. You want to have some information on that. Well, one thing we have is we do a hashtag get a kit. The Be Ready Utah, we have 4 tenets that there you can see all 4 of my fingers, has 4 tenets that we follow. We have make a plan, get a kit, be informed, and get involved. And to do a search on any of those, you just do hashtag and whatever that is. Let's look at get a kit. Hashtag get a kit. And we do a search on that. We have all sorts of information on getting supplies, getting disaster supply kits, and all of that. And these are things, right now we're talking about holiday shopping. So we have getting a kit that's pertinent to holiday shopping kinds of questions. Here's ones about each time you go to the supermarket, buy a little bit of extra and put that extra in storage for an emergency. So again, all sorts of information that you can do for that. We've looked up earthquakes. Here's an interesting one. I'd like to share this with you. Look up rumors. Be Ready Utah rumors. I know during the earthquake and at the beginning of the pandemic, there was a lot of rumors going on, false information. And one thing that we try and do in Be Ready Utah, along with the Division of Emergency Management, is we try and dispel those rumors. So let's see what we talked about there. Okay, so the last one was in April. This was about the coronavirus. There was a lot of false information going on, and these are things that we posted. Of course, there's always promoted things. Don't follow don't look at the promoted things. That's not from us. But here it's talking about rumors easily circulate during a crisis. Distinguish between rumors and facts before you spread information. So that's another great thing that you can do. All right, so back to the home here. Okay, so this is what it looked like for you. Okay, so just a few minutes ago, we posted one about Avalanche. This is Avalanche Awareness Week in Utah, so we have information about that. That'd be a great thing to send out. Anybody that has backcountry or avalanche-prone areas in your jurisdiction. Now, I want to show you this little piece down here. If you don't have any specific message that you want to reference, but you just want to ask us a question, like, for example, you could ask us to come and do a presentation, or do you have a presentation on this, or you just have a question about something, you can go down to this little tab on the bottom right-hand corner, click on the little envelope, type in, you want to send it to us at Be Ready. So at Be Ready Utah, and then you go so you have to select it. That puts it in the queue, so you can send out messages to multiple people. But if it's just to us, select that and then hit next, type your little message. Hey, Brian, you're the best. Oh, well, thank you very much. You can send that. Okay, so that's Twitter. There's a lot of information. We've been putting it out now consistently for about 3 years. Each year, each month, we have a different topic that we share. Each month we have a different topic that we share. This month we're focusing on transportation, different modes of transportation during an emergency, preparing for an emergency. And of course, we're talking about getting a kit along with the holiday season, encouraging people to buy if you're going to buy something or prepare something, give preparedness things as a gift this season. So that's a message that we're putting out, along with all the coronavirus things as well. All right, that's Twitter. Anybody have any questions about Twitter? Feel free to throw any additional questions into chat, or yeah, we'll go on. All right, we'll now go talk a little bit about Facebook. Okay, Facebook is very similar to Twitter. Some jurisdictions have both. You can do pretty much the same things. Make sure you follow us. You can like us right there. That lets more people. The more likes we get, the more we're prone to be spread throughout Utah. So we're trying to encourage people to do that. So if you wouldn't mind giving us a like in Facebook, that would be great. But then we also have a lot of information in Facebook as well. Again, the like or follow, you can't, if you don't want to necessarily like us, but you still want to follow us, you can hit the 3 ellipses here, and that opens up on yours. It'll say follow. So you'll be able to follow us and get our information. You just won't like us as much, but it won't hurt my feelings too bad if you just follow us rather than like us. But they almost essentially do the same thing. Just as with Twitter, you can like our information. Here's talking about express lane safety. You can like that message. All sorts of different kinds of. If you don't like it, you can put an angry face on. Angry face it. Believe it or not, some people get angry when we talk about emergency preparedness. They put that. Put a comment out. You can share it as well. So those are different things that you can do. Pretty similar to Twitter. You can also, one thing you can do at the very top, we have sign up for Shakeout. You can share that with people. That just brings you to the Shakeout sign up page. But then we have more information on Shakeout maybe in another one of these webinars. But okay, let's see, what are we going to do? Oh, our videos. We have a lot of videos and photos, and in Facebook, we sometimes do some Facebook Live events. Sometimes we're at an event and we turn on Facebook Live and talk about that event. Maybe we've come out to your event. There was a little while ago. Let's see, just a second here. Okay, I want to do a search. I clicked on videos. I want to do a search on this page. On this one, you don't need to put in at Be Ready Utah. You can just put in the topic. But a year ago, I went and did a first responders night out in Payson, Utah. I did a little video there. So we can type in Payson. find the video. Here's the little video that I did for that. You're not going to be able to hear it because I'm in the wrong means of doing that. But I mean, maybe you want to see what did Be Ready Utah have to say about my event. So you can type that in. What else do we have? Some other things also in here. Specific things to Utah. We had that earthquake in Magna a while ago. What did Be Ready Utah have to say about that? We had all sorts of great preparedness information, but the day of, we put out some Facebook Live videos. So the hashtag for that was Utah earthquake. Utah earthquake. Here's Wade Matthews talking about that earthquake incident. We had a few of those that we put out that day. There was some information. There was some rumors being dispelled. So that would be something that you could do during an emergency, something that's happening. If we create a video, you'd be able to share that with your jurisdictions as well. Now, the last one I want to share with you is all right, here we go. We're also on YouTube. And here's the Be Ready Utah YouTube channel. Again, one of the first things I suggest you do is you subscribe, because then you'll have quicker access to all of our videos. You can also just do a search for Be Ready Utah and click on that, and that'll take you here as well. But if you're subscribed, it just makes it, I think you get a little notice if we post a new video. At Be Ready Utah, just in the last couple of years, we've started doing these things we call prep casts. They're just about 10 minutes to, we've had some go up to about 45 minutes, but we just have little topics of emergency preparedness. The first one we did was about emergency communication. You know, in the first season, we did 21 different videos. The last one was about important papers and money, finances. We did ones about sanitation, safety and security, first aid, wildfire. We have, like for example, wildfire. This is one that we had some representatives from DNR. They came out and had a chat with us and told us things that we can do to be more safe in a wildfire. If that would be something that would be helpful for the people in your area or during wildfire season, you can click on that, and you can see in the little window there, you can share that. You can share it on Facebook, Twitter, or any of the other social media platforms that you have. So that's another great resource that Be Ready Utah has for you. So we've got
encroachment into the wildland urban interface.
Yep. So we've got Prepcast Season 1. Prepcast Season 2 is this year. So we've done other ones about in comments. A lot of times we get questions and we just specifically answer those. That's what those are. We had one about National Radon Action Month. That was a really effective one. And then because we were getting really tired of COVID, let me just share this one with all of you real quick. We were getting really tired of COVID. We wanted to lighten things up, so we did a little bit of a game show. So I'll share this, just a few moments of this one with you, and then we'll move on.
Jeff Johnson.
Okay, so this is Wade introducing the Be Ready Utah team.
Go ahead and wave, Jeff, so we know who you are. James Ray, Ken Prouty, and Marilyn Hoff, the earthquake lady. Very famous. All right, today for our Be Ready Utah Prepcast, we are going to play a game. We don't have a name for this game, but it's going to be fun. We are going to provide a scenario, and then we're going to provide a list of items that we might have at our disposal during that scenario. And then each of our section members, our contestants, are going to choose an item off of the list and explain why they chose that item, after which the judge will bestow some points. All right, is everyone ready? And we're going to go in alphabetical order by first name. And here's the scenario. We've been on a COVID-infested ship, a cruise ship, full of COVID-19. And we are off the coast of California, which has just been struck by an earthquake, a 7.5 magnitude earthquake on the San Andreas Fault. But we're not too far from shore. However, the ship is sinking. Okay. All right. I'm going to share my screen. You were going.
All right. So that's just a little introduction real quick of the most recent Prepcast. Again, that one was kind of a little tongue-in-cheek. We had a little fun with that. The others are a little more informative with emergency preparedness information. And then one other thing I wanted to share real quick, our PSAs that we've put out. One thing that we found is that the most effective way of helping the residents of Utah to be prepared is, instead of just me coming out and telling Joe Citizen what he needs to do to be prepared, is to encourage Joe Citizens, once he has done an emergency preparedness action or preparedness something, to share that with his friends and family and neighbors, because it's way more effective for Joe's friends and family to do those kinds of things than if they're just hearing it from government guy Brian. So we started this series, the PSAs. Anytime is a good time to talk about emergency preparedness, and I'll show you the first one.
Hey, Ken.
Hey,
How was your weekend?
it was good. I mowed the lawn and watched the game. You?
I filled my emergency water storage containers with water. I found out if you're using city tap water, it's already treated and ready for long-term storage. You don't have to add anything to it.
Huh. I should do that.
All right. So the whole point of these are, again, to encourage people to get out there and, I should do that, to share emergency preparedness with their friends, families, and neighbors. Because we want to get past that stigma of emergency preparedness is for weirdos and people that are preparing for zombie apocalypse. So that's our PSAs. We have a few of them where we have some ideas in the works. Like everybody else, COVID-19 has kind of put the brakes on creating more of these for a little while. The last thing I wanted to share with you is our preparedness presentations and webinars. Recently we had because we weren't able to do the Be Ready Utah Expo in March, we did the next best thing. We did a webinar in November. And so we had a lot of great presenters that came out and shared emergency preparedness information with us. And we have recordings of each one of those. So we have disaster myths, pandemic prep. You can see a whole list of them here. And if we come out and do a presentation for you in your jurisdiction, whether if we do it virtually or if not virtually, if we record it, this is where we would post that. And then you can see it later and you can share it with the people in your jurisdiction later. But recently we've done a winter preparedness presentation for Springville City. We did hygiene and sanitation in Cottonwood Heights. Those are some of the presentations that we've done. And then back to our main page. That's our main our outreach videos, but we also have all of these Citizen Corps videos that talk about and encourage participation in what used to be Citizen Corps. It's now called, here in the state, we call it the State Preparedness and Outreach Council, or SPOC. I don't think it has anything to do with Star Trek, but we'll need to change the name on that. But a lot of our outreach programs for like VIPS, Fire Corps, CERT, and the Medical Reserve Corps. Also, those three, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Excuse me just a minute. Sorry, my throat was drying out. Those three are the main three that Be Ready Utah is on right now. Let me stop sharing my screen. We're also on Instagram and Pinterest. We don't put as much information on those, but you can follow us along there as well. But we'd encourage you to join the conversation. Use the information that we've done the research. We're putting it out there every single day. Use that and send it out to the people in your jurisdiction, your residents, and help them to be more prepared with that information. If you have any questions about specific topics, feel free to message us either through the social media platforms, or you can send us an email at BeReadyUtah.gov. And we'd love to hear from you. So with that, that's the end of my presentation. I'll open it up for any questions.
Hey, Brian, question for you. Could you explain why on the Be Ready Utah webinars and presentations playlist, some of them were private and some of them were not, like the Cottonwood Heights and so on were not private, but there were some that were. Could you explain that?
That's a good question. One thing that you can do, if we do a presentation for you and you don't want to share it with everybody in the entire world, is we can list that privately. And then we give you that link. And if anybody, then you send that link out to the people that you want to do it. A lot of times when we have family groups that we do presentations for, we list those as private because they don't want their family faces and information spread out to the entire world. So that's a very good question. That's Wade Matthews, of course, the manager of Be Ready Utah. But great question on why we have private ones listed. If you don't want it listed, but you still want to be able to share that information, we can just list it as private and give you the link. Great question. Anybody else?
Brian, I have a question for you.
Yes, Wade Matthews.
Sure. If someone wanted to be a guest on the Be Ready Utah Prepcast, how could they do that?
If somebody wanted to be a guest on the Be Ready Utah Prepcast, they could, of course, contact Wade Matthews at BeReadyUtah, BeReadyUtah.gov via email or through any of the direct messaging things. We'd encourage, if you have a particular topic or interest that you would like to share, we'd love to have you on a Prepcast in the future. Did that answer your question, Manager Wade Matthews of Be Ready Utah?
Brian, yes, thank you. You're doing great.
All right. Yeah, Joaquin, you can call me later on that. Yep. Anybody else have any questions?
Brian, I think you covered my questions, but as an emergency manager, if something happens in my jurisdiction and you just I don't have the time to put together messaging, but I know the topic, so a flood after a fire, or that a pandemic is in my community, and I just don't have the time to put together a message. You said you've probably posted about just about any topic on the hazards and risks in Utah, and we could find that in your social media.
Yeah, well,
right?
let's go. If we want to do a really quick look again, let's go to Twitter. Twitter's kind of an easier one to find things. Search Twitter. Let's do at Be Ready Utah. You said flood after fire. Flood after fire. Oh, no results. Let's try spacing it. Flood after fire. Try that again. Okay, here we go. Here's information. We have a Prepcast about flood after fire. In March, we had some other posts about flood after fire. This one was specifically talking about flood after fires for the fires we had this year, the Knowles Fire, the Vail Fire, and the Canal Fire. So yeah, chances are if it's something that's happening, it's happened in the past, and we're aware of that hazard, so we probably have information. If we don't, you can't find anything, feel free to direct message contact us, or you could call, what is it? I can't remember the office phone number. What's the office phone number? I know it's 3400. 538-3400. You can give us a call there, and if a message is left or something, they'll contact us, and we'll contact you back. And we can help you create something, or we'll create something and send it to you. Okay. Any other questions? One thing I encourage in those direct messages or emails to us, Ken Crowdy is going to talk about this next week, but that's one way that you can request us to come and participate in any of the events you have, or come and do a presentation. So just a plug for Ken's presentation next week. If we don't have any other questions, I guess it's back to you, Tracy.
Great. Thanks, Brian. Thank you for your presentation today. As a reminder,
Sure.
This webinar and all other webinars in this series will be available on the DEM website at dem.utah.gov/exercises. Our webinar next week will be, as Brian mentioned, by Ken Crowdy, and he will be talking about how you can get someone to present for you locally. And if you have any I Wonder topic suggestions, please reach out to me at tbodily, TBODILY, @utah.gov to have your topic added to our calendar. We're always excited to help you explore and get to know all that DEM can offer the emergency management community. And with that, thank you and have a good day.